So, I just finished The Last of Us episode 3, and I have some thoughts, and I've been pretty quiet on this show for a little bit. So, first off, I want to say this show's really incredible. It's been amazing to see an adaptation done really well, really faithfully. The kind of divergences they've done from the original story have been awesome. I've enjoyed seeing it, and I almost kind of see this TV show as an alternate universe of like how in the Spider-Man movies now all three Spider-Men are the same Peter, but they're all in different universes and they have similar stories but different stories. It's kind of what I see here. And so this episode I feel like is going to be controversial for a lot of reasons, but I think that there's a few reasons why. In particular, to me, the more I sat with it, the more I was disappointed, and it's probably not for the reasons you think it is. And so I'm just going to share my thoughts as to why. So first off, I again want to say that this episode was great TV. Honestly, it was good TV. It was good storytelling, good acting, all those things. It got you in the feels. But as a fan of the game, and from what I've heard from a lot of fans, Bill's Town is one of the best parts of the game. And so maybe they were too cautious to try to adapt that and ruin it. But as someone who was really looking forward to Bill's Town, this was disappointing just because it was so different. And all the things I was looking forward to tonight's episode and have been looking forward to ever since the trailers didn't happen. And so I think that's the first big letdown that I feel, is that the Bill's Town from the game, I was really looking forward to that being adapted in live action, but I don't think we're ever gonna see that now. That it's now just something that's in the game, which again is fine. It's fine that's in the game. This won't wreck the game or anything, and it means that I just have another reason to play the game. But as someone who is looking forward to actually seeing this done live action, it's honestly super disappointing. And especially hearing some of the actors and people on the show say that, oh, this is the best episode that's going to hook you, it's kind of concerning that them diverging from the game so drastically in a favorite part of the game was where they thought it would hook me, when this was probably the episode I've liked the least so far. And again, not because it was bad, because as a fan, it was dang, that's super disappointing. I feel like the game's version of this was leagues better than the version we got. Second thing that's super disappointing to me, and this is again me just comparing it to the game, and I understand that they're two different things, I get that, but as a huge fan of the game, it's going to affect me whether you like it or not. And the second thing that's super disappointing is that it felt like the whole story of Bill from the game was changed, because I think that in the game, Bill is almost like the worst version of Joel, who Joel could become if Joel just continues down the path he's on of just being this cold-hearted, gutless dude who only cares about surviving and doesn't care about having emotions, and he's just looking out to just keep living. Bill is kind of the entity of that, of the worst person that Joel could become, that he could be someone who is so cold, so cut off, that he drives everybody he cares about away. And even to the point where when he gets a letter from someone he cares about, he sees it, he kind of gets emotional, but then he just crumples it up and throws it away. He wants nothing to do with it because he doesn't want to feel again. And I thought that lesson for Joel in that moment in the game was super profound, where he was able to look at Bill and be like, man, is this the person that I want to turn into? And it's after that point that he starts to kind of open up more to Ellie, because I think Joel recognizes that that's not who he wants to become. And I think the message in the show was drastically different, where instead of it saying don't be like Bill, I feel like the message of the show was, Joel, you should be more like Bill, which was interesting. But it was I thought the other message was more profound and better writing, of being look at who you could turn into. And instead it's oh, Joel, you should be like Bill, you should settle down and feel, and then off yourself with your partner, because that's romantic. It was what? I don't like that at all. I feel like the other message was way better, and thinking about Bill being this guy who's all alone in this town because that's what he's chosen to do with his life was really profound and an interesting theme that I really wish was in this episode. And then lastly, the most disappointing thing I think is that so far any action scenes they've had have been really awesome, but there haven't been that many. And again, all those different things that are in this episode, whether it's Ellie breaking off the pipe and smacking Bill with it, and Bill being all right, let's get on with it, and then them going to the high school and having all those hordes that they have to deal with, and then running into their first bloater, and then just narrowly escaping and having to push the truck. all those different things. And then even the goodbye dude, like all those things were gone. And it was kind of sad because I was looking forward to a more action-packed episode, something that would show us all those different things. I know we'll probably get that later, but it was just disappointing to be able to compare it to the game and be like, man, the game had great storytelling and action. I know that the game has to have action because it's a game and you have to play, but it felt like this was a cool moment to continue faithfully adapting this, and it just felt like kind of a miss. Where again, if you're someone who hasn't played the game, you'll probably watch this episode and be like, I don't get what people are so upset about. But if you're someone who played the game, and I know for a lot of people Bill's Town is their favorite part of the game, it's kind of like, dang, I was really looking forward to seeing that. I didn't even get to see Joel and Bill really interact. I only got to see one dinner conversation with them and Tess, which was again cool to see, but I really wish we were able to experience that. And I feel like there were ways they could have told this story and had that. I thought for a little bit that maybe Frank was going to leave and that Bill wasn't going to let him off himself. And so Frank was like, fine, I'll take it in my own hands. And he was just going to hike out of there. And Bill was just going to decide it was too risky to leave. And then Joel would show up. And then they'd eventually find Frank and do that. I thought that would be a really interesting take where that scene would have way more emotion. But instead, they took it in a completely different direction, which was fine. I just think the game did it like leagues better. But that's an incredibly hot take. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not. I look forward to the comment section of this video. I'm sure it's going to be really polite and civilized. And again, I want to say I love this show. This episode was a good episode of television. I'm just saying that as a fan, I was disappointed to not see some of those things I was really looking forward to since the first trailer. But I again want to echo, this show's great. I've been enjoying it a ton. It's probably going to end up being my favorite TV show of all time. Just because there's one episode that's weird for me as a video game fan doesn't mean that it's ruined the whole thing. It just means I'm like, oh, I guess in this universe that's what happened. I think the game did a lot better. Oh well, let's hope the next episode is great because the last two have been awesome. But I want to know what you guys think, so head down to that comment section. Let me know your thoughts, and we will see you guys in the next one.